Hi again then guys, and welcome to another straight line performance build for Forza Horizon 3, and this particular build is one of those cars which has more room for variation, especially visually, than many of the other tunes which we do. Most of the cars tend to be fairly limited as far as visual upgrades. You might have the option of wings or not. The occasional car has a body kit, but most of the high-end cars which I do tunes for, at least on YouTube in particular, tend to be supercars, and you just don't have as many visual options with those vehicles. With cars such as this one though, like the old school Fairlady Z, you do have more visual options. You've got the body kits, various other upgrades to choose from, so it depends if you like the way this car already looks with the rims, etc. The paint notwithstanding, of course, you can get this exact tune from my storefront. So it depends if you just want to slap it on as it is. If you do, and you don't really care about changing any of the visuals, you can find it by using the keywords in the video description down below. If though you want to change some stuff, such as bodywork for instance, various other parts, such as the wing, all that kind of thing, then obviously this is more the video for you, because you can follow the parts that you want to have and then don't follow the parts which you don't, such as the body kit, where you have, as we said, multiple different options to work with. Now, as far as the engine swap, which is more important than the visuals because those are down to personal preference, I would recommend the V8 conversion. As always, I would recommend all-wheel drive unless you are specifically opposed to it. Some people may be, because it is kind of a drifter, so it depends again what you want. As far as the aspiration, of course, twin turbo, it's fairly obvious. For the visuals, just go for whatever you want, and the rest is fairly obvious. Low weight, high power, and I would, as you can see through the windows there, recommend an anti-roll bar. Now, as far as the tuning on this particular model, which is of course the way to get more out of those raw numbers, as you can see from the benchmark specs, it's not a monster compared to some supercars on the game, but it certainly isn't slow. 233 miles per hour, 3 seconds to 60, 5.7 to 100. It's pretty quick, especially for an older model. Now, as far as the gearbox, I would recommend a final drive of 3, then individual gears of 2.9, 2, 1.5, 1.17, 0.93 and 0.72. And then for the rest, if you've been on the channel before, this won't be a surprise. I like my settings fairly neutral. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Just change them around as you see fit. I've got neutral camber and tow, 5 degrees of caster, although really you could take that even lower. As far as anti-roll, we've got those on 30 and 21. Springs on 154 and 148 with the lowest possible ride height, and that's primarily for the looks, of course. As far as dampers, we've got those on 15, 14 and 6. Aero doesn't apply, of course. And finally, for the diff, it's fairly obvious what we usually do. 100% on acceleration, 0 on deceleration, and as far as the center split, I've opted for 80% in favour of the rear. That gives you a nice balance of drifting ability, off-road ability, launch and control. So that's it overall for the setup, and as I said, you've got the option of following on here and making some visual changes if you want to do that, and if you're on this video, chances are that's probably the route you're going to take, or if you already like the way it looks and what I've done to the car, you can find it on the storefront. Either way, I hope obviously you find it fun and competitive, and if you'd like to keep up with other tunes like this, you can subscribe down below or check out the playlist at the end of this video. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.